Hi. On our show today is a very special guest, Justin Hayward of the Moody Blues. And Justin, it's nice to see you back again.
Thank you. Always nice to be with you.
This time, you have a new album. It's a solo album.
Yes.
And it's called View from the Hill.
Yeah.
And I was wondering about the title, A View from the Hill, because, well, you tell me about the title, because I have my own ideas about the title. I'd like to hear your ideas.
Well, it's literal, I suppose, and as well as lots of other meanings. But I live in south of France now, in Nice, and actually live on the side of a hill. And so I've changed the place where I live, and because of that, I think a lot of that is actually in the album, in so much as you know, I'm an Englishman in that part of Europe where there's not many other English people, and then so I have a different kind of perspective of it, and I've more or less stepped out of the London scene really, and just got my head out of that, and so it literally, the place where it was written, I have that view as I'm writing these songs, and then I suppose metaphorically it's just a place where I'm at in my life now, and I've reached a kind of crossroads, and I've been able to sort of dump a lot of baggage that I've been carrying around just for a long time, and I feel that I'm almost qualified to make some of these statements just about life and the world around me, and so it's the view that I have, and I see it as the view, an overview at the moment.
It's the metaphorical part that I wanted to explore a little bit further with you.
Not easy.
Because last month you turned 50.
Yes, yeah.
And I mean, I'm very close to your age,
yeah.
And I know that you, as you say, once you reach a certain age, you're entitled to make certain observations, I guess, about life.
Yeah, okay.
And how much of a factor is turning 50 for you in the composition of this album?
I don't think it made any difference at all, because I made the album in '95, September, October '95, and so I've never really thought about that. But I know what you mean, is just in terms of a place in my life when you start to look at what's ahead of you and what you really want, and start, instead of focusing on what you're sort of getting, you start to focus on what you want your life to, how you want to evolve from here. So that's the difference the age part of it made. But the rest of it, I think, no, I just see it. I mean, I was recording this album for a start in a place not that many miles from where there was a war going on, from where, you know, people with colour televisions and very comfortable little homes are hating each other, and that's trying to sort of rationalise that as well. And I suppose I had a lot of things in my heart that I wanted to say, and I've always found that I tend to write about the things that I just can't. If I could say it, I wouldn't need to write a song about it. So, and there was another thing, it was that I've met some great musicians this last 4 or 5 years that have really become very good pals, and I made this album with them, and it was a real celebration of an album. I think it's the best thing. It's the best thing as a solo artist I've ever done, and I think it's coming close to the best work I've ever done anyway, you know, with the Moodies or anything.
Yeah, I've listened to it several times today in anticipation of this interview, and when I was going through all the songs, I've also read all the words a few times, and there seems to be some common themes in a lot of your songs, and I wrote down some choice, choosing directions in life, and hope and freedom and peace. They seem to be recurring themes in your songs.
Yeah. Well, you know how I've always felt, and I believe that music can make the world a better place, and that's always been my purpose. And I wanted to also give a kind of performance in each song, so that every song would mean something really true to me, and would evoke a particular emotion in me that was strong enough to share with anybody who listened to this album.
Can we talk about some of those songs?
Of course, yeah, let's do it.
It starts out with I Heard It.
Yeah.
Which, when I was reading, I'll tell you what I felt from the song as a listener, and you can tell me where you intended to go with it. Okay. But I'll stick my neck out first.
Go on,
Okay. In this song, I wrote down, I'm going to show you my notes, the term mindfulness.
Yeah.
It's kind of stopping the earth at the moment and seeing where you are in the present and enjoying the moment. You have a line in here, why don't you stop, feel the wonder, listen to the sound.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, hey, it's so simple, you know, but sometimes you got to think about it. Let's stop, slow down, and think about where we are, because time just, you know, keeps erasing those moments.
Sure.
Now you tell me what you really meant.
Okay, well, for me, it's the lead song on the album because it was what I've always felt as a child, and there was something that hit me, I suppose, when I was maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, that that music was going to make my life different, and in fact that I wasn't. It was almost I was going to be. It's somewhat sad in a way that was going to be incomplete without music, and I often envy people who have no musical kind of inclination at all, or anything kind of artistic, because they are and they exist on their own and they're nice, wonderful people. And sometimes it disturbs me that music is such a large part of my life that if you took it away, I don't know what I'd be. But the song really, I heard it, it's just about that moment, just when it hit me and how it never goes away. You know, that I'm always hearing the music, or the music of the spheres, or whatever you want to call it. But it's always it's the way to express these emotions for me is through music.
Okay, so I'm 0 for 1 so far. Okay.
It doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter. That's the whole part, that's the whole point of music, isn't it? It
Yes.
can, if it evokes, it means something to me, and I believe if I do it sincerely, then it'll evoke something in somebody else that's just as sincere and just as meaningful. If it doesn't evoke something in me, I don't think it'll affect anybody else.
Okay, second song on the CD is Broken Dream.
Yeah.
Seems to be about losing a love.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a sad song, but then it ends at the very last sentence in the song. I'll take my heart and let it fly.
Yes.
Which seems to signify some hope or some freedom at the end of the song.
Well, there are some songs, and Broken Dream is one of those that kind of, it delves into a kind of darker side of me that I've yet to really explore myself. But there's, obviously, you know, I'm a musician, and that's quite public, and that's quite open, and it's there for everyone to see. But of course, I'm a man as well that has a lot of relationships in his life, and encounters and things like that. And this song is really about that. And you know, if I was to always say literally what each song was about, then it would be disappointing for people, because that's not the idea of it. It's like if you painted a painting and gave it a title, a paragraph long, it would so influence how you looked at that painting that it would detract from it.
Okay. The third song, you didn't write.
No, I didn't.
The Promised Land.
Promised Land. This was written by Moody's keyboard player and Phil Palmer, one of the greatest guitar players in the world. And I don't say that lightly. You know, he really is. And he worked with me on this album. And I tell you, as a guitar player, I had to raise my game, knowing that I was playing in front of him, you know, every day.
He worked with Dire Straits or something?
Yes, he was with Dire Straits. He did their big world tour. He's played on all the George Michael records. He was with Eric Clapton for quite a long time. You know, like, I always loved the things he did with George, so with George Michael, Faith, and all of those kind of things. He played on all his records, and a lot of big hits in England. He's only young, but he's very focused. But it was really about, it was a song that he played me, and that was about refugees and about hardship in the world. And I really felt that it was something that I hadn't addressed myself. Or at least not a subject for a long time. And I say particularly we were only a few miles from where it was happening, and there was us in this most beautiful part of the world, and a few miles away there's this dreadful, bitter war and this line of refugees coming. So it really, but it's a song of hope, you know, and about searching for the future, and how people never give up hope.